Star versus the Forces of Evil and the Magic Book of Spells belong to Daron Nefcy, Disney Channel, and all other people associated with creating it. Hello everybody, my name is Raspberry Barrel, and today I'm going to do sort of a review reading audiobook of the Star versus the Forces of Evil Magic Book of Spells. I'm doing this because I know that I like to listen to audiobooks sometimes, and I know that there are some people that don't have and haven't read the Star versus the Forces of Evil Magic Book of Spells. And Daron Nefcy did say that it was like the season 3.5. And so far into season 4, there have been so many references to it. And I think some people might be a little confused about some things that are happening in the episodes if they haven't read the book, or, you know, maybe there's something that happens in the episode and they're like, huh, what a small, weird little detail. But it's like, nope, that was mentioned in the book, and you might understand and like the episode more if you had known about it before. So I probably won't be able to finish all of these before the show ends, but I wanted to try. So we're just gonna read the chapter, review the chapter, and then, you know, if I've seen this somehow connect in the show, I'll talk about that. And please forgive me for, you know, ever messing up. Thanks, guys. The first chapter of the Magic Book of Spells we're going to read is right before the first queen we learn about, Skywyn. This is basically Glossaryck telling us all about the book. But first, we're going to read this little bit from Daron Nefcy at the side, sort of cover of the book. Hello, magical princesses and princes. I'm Daron Nefcy, creator of Star versus the Forces of Evil, voice of Starfan 13, and Dark Lord of the Multiverse. You hold in your hands the converted Magic Book of Spells. You may wonder how. I thought Ludo burned this book. Or was it Toffee who burned the book when he was inside of Ludo? Well, you'd be right. Ludo/Toffee did burn the book, but because you have it here, you must have found a piece and used one of Glossaryck's silkworms to reconstruct it. Very clever of you. Now you have access to the Muni Queens who came before Star. You can gain insight into their various spells, histories, diary pages, tarot cards, and secret lovers. Find out your Aroli sign, I'm a dead horse, and make some pies. And if you're really clever, unlock a secret language. As the new owner of the book, take good care of it. Treat it like a library book. Don't take it with you into the bathtub. Magic books always get passed down, so you can't let the pages get soggy. Don't forget to leave your legacy in the book. Your chapter is waiting for you in the back. Most important, don't let this book fall into the hands of the forces of evil. And don't forget about your cosmic importance. Daron Nefcy. Greetings from inside your Book of Spells. Welcome to your new Magic Book of Spells. I don't know who you are, but you can write your name here, and I'll try to remember you. I'm Sir Glossaryck of Terms, at your service, milady. I'm here to help you reach your potential. I live inside your book. This message is just for you, and it changes depending on who happens to be the owner of the book. Sometimes I'm really welcoming, and sometimes I really don't have the juice. It's like I can sense when the new princess is kind of a dud, and I sort of glaze over. If she's bad, it's just a waiting game, really, until she gives the book to her kid, or gets eaten by a centaur, or whichever comes first. If I'm super welcoming, it usually creeps people out, so either way, it's probably a lose-lose for you. Anyway, let's take a moment to calibrate your book to your personality. Cover your right eye, and with your left eye, focus on this spot. Now, cover your left eye, and with your right eye, focus on this spot. Now look at both spots with both eyes at the same time. If you're able to focus on them both, congratulations! You are a goat or a rabbit. This book will work properly for you. If you're not able to focus on both of them at the same time, repeat steps 1 through 4. Now that your book is either calibrated or not, we both know you really came here just to learn all about me. All about Glossaryck. I've existed forever, but I was born quite some time after that. Long, long ago, just like yours, my birth was a traumatic and brutish, but unlike you, I remember every detail of it. Imagine if you had to carry that around with you. But I digress. So yes, at some point after I existed and before my birth, I was called into being by one queen or another to assist with humanity's need for understanding the realm of magic. I knew from the future that in order for people to be reading, I'd have to create books in the past. So I made this book and helped the first queen learn to read by writing inside. I liked the book so much, I took out a mortgage and moved in with the silkworms I used to weave the pages. They also weave my robes and my undies. And far be it from a little old bookman to just dole out all his beauty secrets, but since you're a butterfly, you're gonna need all the help you can get. The reason this beard is so white is that it's coated in silkworm slime. Works great in ear and pit hair too, but don't get it in your mouth or you'll turn into a skeleton. I'm serious. Not one drop. Anyway, before you know it, I fell in love with myself, and the two of us, me and myself, had some kids. Hecapoo, Omnitraxus, Prime, Lekmit, Ronaldo the Bald Pate, and Romulus. I put them in charge of managing the contact points between the Queen and the realm of magic. Hecapoo for interdimensional transit, Omnitraxus for space-time, Lekmit for entropy, Ronaldo the Bald Plate for enforcing order lines, and Romulus for warfare. I made the mistake of giving them free will, and I pay for it every day. Anyway, at some point you, me, and the kids are going to be working together as the Magical High Commission, keeping a watchful eye over magic in the multiverse. If you're not a princess or you're some kind of hairy birdling or lizard man, then you probably won't be on the Magical High Commission. But to you, I say kudos on stealing this book. A note on the contents of this book. You're going to encounter glimpses and symbols in this book that will befuddle and frighten you. Some of these might be from one queen or another attempting to learn another language, or some might be a bit of a food that got squished when I fell asleep on it. You know how it is when you have some food, but you're also in bed and you wake up and the food is like glue because you were all warm in bed and it remelted. The cheese on the pizza, which then sticks to the sheets, it's called heat transfer, whereby an object with a different temperature from its surroundings will reach thermal equilibrium. The formula for it is as follows. Q over T equals K times A multiplied by T squared minus T to the first power all over D. Shout out to my boy Justin for this equation. Pay attention to all the scribbles and good luck figuring out what any of them mean. I only speak one language, and it's this one. When people come here all speaking a different language, I'm like, you want to be in this book? You better learn the language of the book or go back to where you came from. It never works. They always stay and fill my pages with their own languages. So you figure it out. Or don't. I can't read a lick of it, and I get by fine. Speaking of lick, why don't we flip ahead to Comet's chapter, where you can bake me one of her pies? It's really the best part of the book. How to use this book. So, first you're going to want to have a wand. Your grandmothers have done their best to transcribe spells they've cast with their wands. There are some great spells in here, and there are some that aren't even spells. Using the wand as a hammer or a gravy ladle isn't magic, although admittedly, gravy is magic. Try the spells that are well documented and start simple. I recommend starting with the often overlooked Levitato and Grandma Crescentis chapter. But I know you're going to just go straight to Skywind's Warnicorn Stampede. Go ahead, it's going to be a mess. Be sure you point your wand away from yourself, and also don't point it at that building over there. Once you've cleaned up the mess and buried, tended the wounded, flip back to this page and continue from here. Make your own entries. Like any failed relationship, this book is only as bad as what you put into it. So don't be shy. Your chapter awaits you at the end of this book. Make your own comments there and take advantage of empty pages to enter your own spells. include as much information as you can. Or, if you want things to go horribly, make the spells dangerous and or cryptic. If all else fails, fall asleep on this pizza. It's so warm. And that was the first chapter in the Star vs. the Forces of Evil Magic Book of Spells. Now, quickly, here is the alphabet we'll be using to decode all the messages in the chapters. As we go on to the other chapters, whenever one of these codes pops up, I plan to give you a moment to pause the video and try to decode it for yourself, and then after a couple minutes for you to pause, I'll show you what it actually means. So, some of the things that I thought were important and pointed out in this chapter were that Glossaryck silkworms can recreate the book if it's burned. If you just have a little piece of the book left, they can recreate the whole thing. The other important thing was the Magical High Commission being Glossaryck's kids. When the Season 4 episode Meteor's Lesson came up, a lot of people were super surprised when Ronaldo said that Glossaryck was his dad. And if they had read the Magical Book of Spells, or maybe even Star and Marco's Guide to Mastering Every Dimension, they might know that Glossaryck is the father to all of the Magical High Commission. A lot of people were asking, who in the world did Glossaryck have a kid with? And Glossaryck doesn't like Romulus and all of the Magical High Commission because he gave them free will. But, at least at this moment in the Magical Book of Spells, he likes Ronaldo quite a bit. It's later that Ronaldo starts to rhyme and Glossaryck doesn't like him as much. Alright, I hope you all enjoyed this reading of the first chapter in the Star vs. the Forces of Evil Magic Book of Spells. This one really was just the introduction. So, yeah, it was short. The next chapter will be Skywyn, Queen of Hours. Again, I hope you enjoyed this, and please support Star vs. the Forces of Evil and go buy the Magical Book of Spells. It really is worth it. You might enjoy listening to this reading audio thing, but you should really get it, read it for yourself. Thanks, everybody. Bye!